love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls, so maybe one day we'll have a conversation.
Tyler Perry, all of them. Tyler Perry fooled the whole black community.
Yo, what's really going on in Hollywood right now? People act like it's all glitter, red carpets, and fancy smiles, but deep down, this place got more secrets than a locked vault. And today, we're stepping right into that darkness because word on the street says Eddie Murphy, a straight-up icon, might have slipped up behind closed doors and dropped some heavy truths about Tyler Perry's insane climb to the top. Eddie's not loud. He's not messy. So when folks claim he said something, people pay attention real quick. You heard that right. Tyler Perry, the genius behind Medea, the man who slept in his car, grinding nonstop until he built $1 billion kingdom with his own hands.
Built my studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so the young black kids can see that a black man did that and they can do it too.
His story been sold as pure inspiration, church vibes, and never give up energy. But these new whispers, they hit different. They're hinting at a whole other side of that rise. A side full of secret deals, sacrifices, and quiet choices people ain't ready to talk about. Some folks are saying there's a price for every throne in Hollywood, and Tyler's might have come with a tab deeper than we imagined. Loyalty might have been tested, identities molded, and certain lines crossed just to stay in those elite rooms. It's the kind of talk people only say in private, so nobody can trace it back to them.
He got us to do what RuPaul couldn't get us to do. He got us to do what no one else, and he came up with an ingenious way to do it.
So let's tear into this whole situation. The grind, the silent battles, the deals nobody sees, and these supposed leaks people swear Eddie let slip. Are they real warnings from a legend who saw too much behind the curtain? Or are they just smoke drifting from a fire somebody else lit on purpose to stir the pot? But before we dive into the Tyler angle, we gotta set the stage right. Eddie Murphy ain't just another star. He's the blueprint, the foundation, the kind of name that changed the whole game forever. From Saturday Night Live to Beverly Hills Cop to Coming to America, Eddie didn't just break through Hollywood, he smashed the whole wall down and rebuilt it in his own style. He showed the world that a black comedian could carry movies, create his own lanes, and turn pure talent into a full empire. Eddie wasn't just acting, he was producing, writing, and putting other people on, while the industry still acted unsure about letting black creatives run anything. That's why when Eddie says something about the business, the whole room gets quiet real fast. This ain't some bitter veteran reaching for attention. This is the guy who helped shape the entire game, so every word hits different. So when whispers started floating around that Eddie was dropping knowledge about Tyler Perry's climb, people leaned in like they were trying to catch secrets off a phone call.
I still think a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery.
Now let's slide over to Tyler's story, because his journey is unbelievable. Born in New Orleans, pushed through a rough childhood, survived struggles most people would have folded under, and fought his way through homelessness until he turned all that pain into fuel. He flipped stage plays into sold-out tours, then flipped that into films, shows, and a brand that nobody could ignore. Then came Medea, the loud, fearless, hilarious granny with a wig, a purse, and a whole lot of personality. People loved her because she made them laugh, but she also made them think. Tyler built a fan base that rode with him from church stages all the way into Hollywood meetings.
He and he alone got black folk to accept drags.
And just when folks thought he hit his peak, he shocked everybody by opening Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. A studio so massive, it made some of the biggest film companies look tiny next to it.
Built my studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so the young black kids can see that a black man did that and they can do it too.
Black excellence on full display for the whole world to see. But here's where the whispers start creeping in, because some say his rise was too quick, like somebody opened a special door for him that most people never even get close to. And that's where things start heating up.
Tyler Perry, all of them. Tyler Perry fooled the whole black community.
Because multiple insiders swear that in a backstage conversation, never filmed, never officially confirmed, but repeated over and over, Eddie Murphy allegedly said this explosive line: "Hollywood don't give you that kind of power unless they know they can control you, or they know you gon' play the game without question. You don't get billions in this town without making peace with the devil. That alone had people debating for weeks. But apparently it didn't stop there, because when someone in that room said Tyler Perry's name, Eddie's reported answer was even colder. Let's just say Madea ain't the only character he's been playing. Now that line Eddie supposedly dropped could have been metaphor, could have been Eddie just being slick, or it could have been a coded message meant only for people who know how the business really moves.
Get out.
He put me.
Either way, it landed hard and had people looking around like they just heard something they weren't supposed to hear. Let's keep it 100. Tyler Perry really did shift the whole landscape of Hollywood. But that doesn't mean his journey came without people calling him out or questioning what happens behind the scenes. Some writers claim he stays away from the Writers Guild so he can keep control of everything on his terms, even if it means the people working under him don't get the pay or protections they should have. That's a criticism folks have been bringing up for years, and it always starts debates. Some actors have said his sets move fast, too fast, like scenes get rushed and scripts don't get enough time to breathe before shooting starts. They say the machine keeps going no matter what, and you gotta keep up if you want to stay in the circle. And other people whisper that loyalty around Tyler is built on dependence. Like, once you're in his system, you stay because he makes sure you can't really go anywhere else without losing something big. That's a heavy claim, but it's one that keeps getting repeated. Behind closed doors, the whispers get even louder, especially about how quickly his studio expanded. Real estate deals, tax advantages, powerful political connections, plus talk about folks getting quietly pushed aside whenever they ask the wrong questions or expect more transparency. Nothing confirmed publicly, but the rumors stay alive. So when Eddie supposedly makes that comment about playing characters, people start putting pieces together like a puzzle that suddenly looks way too clear. They see patterns in both men's careers and start wondering what Eddie was really hinting at. Eddie Murphy came up in a time when being black in Hollywood meant you had to fight tooth and nail just to keep your spot, let alone rise to the top. He broke barriers that felt impossible back then. Tyler Perry came up in a different era, when Hollywood started inviting black creators in, but sometimes with strings attached, expectations attached, and limits they didn't speak about out loud. His shows were everywhere, but mainly on networks that loved clean Christian family versions of black stories, which made people question whether he was accepted for his talent or selected because he fit a certain image they wanted. And that's where things get complicated, because some say Tyler built a safe brand, faith, forgiveness, healing, while Eddie knows exactly what it feels like to be labeled too raw, too real, or too bold for Hollywood's comfort. Eddie lived through the battles Tyler never had to face in the same way. Industry Inside has been saying for years that Tyler Perry runs his operation like a fortress. NDAs stacked everywhere, silence locked tight, and nobody allowed to speak on anything that might make the brand look messy. Some folks say it's just smart business, a way to protect the empire he built from scratch. Others whisper that it's a way to keep the real story tucked away where nobody can reach it. And then all these backstage rumors start floating around. Writers being rushed, scripts being finished overnight, people having emotional breakdowns from the pressure, crews getting switched out mid-season without warning. None of it confirmed, but when the same story keeps popping up, you start wondering what's really happening behind those studio gates. People close to Eddie Murphy believe he sees danger in that kind of setup, a man building power through silence, control, and locked doors. Eddie came from an era where comedians spoke their minds with no filter, no script, no fear, so watching someone rise through tight control instead of open creativity probably hits him as a warning sign instead of a success story. Another piece of the puzzle is Tyler Perry's heavy use of Christian themes. The sermons, the prayers, the redemption arcs. His main audience is churchgoers and black women who love stories of healing and faith, and they trust him deeply because of it. He sells inspiration like it's oxygen, and people buy into that message with full hearts. But Eddie's generation was built on raw honesty. No sugarcoating, no soft edges, just truth straight from the gut. That's why insiders say Eddie might have hinted that Tyler leans on faith as a strategic tool. using those themes to keep the audience locked in more like a business move than a spiritual one. That doesn't make him a villain, but it does make folks question whether he's building legacy or recycling pain because it keeps the money flowing. And then came the moment that shook the whole culture. In 2025, a major lawsuit hit the headlines, accusing Tyler Perry of sexual assault and battery, sending shockwaves through the industry. The case is still active, no verdict, nothing proven, but the allegations alone cracked that carefully built image wide open and made people start looking at his empire with brand new eyes. And remember Eddie's words, Hollywood don't give you that kind of power unless they can control you. What if Tyler's control is finally slipping and Eddie saw it coming? This ain't just gossip. This might be about two very different views of success. Eddie, speak truth, own your flaws, break the system. Tyler, follow the rules, sell the story, control the narrative. One's a rebel, the other's a reformer, and maybe Eddie's so-called leak was never about shade, but about saying, wake up, don't believe everything you see. Behind all this, a bigger question. Who lets people rise? When Black creators succeed too fast, we cheer, but we forget that real power don't just get given, it gets negotiated. Eddie's hinting at something deeper, that Perry's rise ain't just about hard work, it's about deals, about compromises, about playing roles. And maybe he ain't judging Perry, just warning the rest of us. So where do we land? Is Eddie Murphy spilling the truth or just talking slick? Is Tyler Perry a genius or a puppet with a golden stage? What if it's both? What if Perry did play the game, made those deals, controlled the image, all to get to the top? And what if Eddie, old school, battle-scarred, still holding it down, saw it all and wanted to let us know? Fame ain't free? Y'all decide. But just remember, not everything shiny in Hollywood is gold. And sometimes the scariest stories are the ones nobody wants to tell. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Eddie right to speak out? Is Perry a hero or a hustler? And what does this say about the game we support? Stay woke, stay loud. And until next time, keep your eyes open. Peace.